Hey, it's Ed O'Keefe, and welcome to the Truck Wreck Case Acquisition Method. I'm super excited to have you here. We have a ton to go through, and I promise to have it all done in 59 minutes or less. So I'm going to do my best to stay true to that. I also told you there's probably going to be a couple add-ons just to clarify things in case I miss anything or I promise any scripts or just kind of add-ons as we go through it. My brain works best real time. It's one of those things where I wanted to treat this like a consultation, as if you came to me and I was like, all right, here's what I'm seeing. Now the challenge is I don't have your link to your site. I don't know what's going on in your firm, but I will walk you through my thought process, right? And this was stimulated and encouraged because we just got done with, and I'll tell you a little bit more about in a second. We just got done with our first ever Personal Injury Mastery Live. It's a one-day event. Everything you need to know about attracting truck wreck cases and all kinds of MVA, construction, nursing home, dog bites, like whatever you love doing. The system that I teach will work in any of it. And I'll tell you my background in a second, and I'll give you like why you should listen to me, all that fun stuff. But I don't want to waste too much time on that. I do want to say though that there's a huge opportunity and there's a big blind spot in personal injury because I'm an outsider coming in. Just no hiding that because I think that's my advantage. And what happened was I I had a client after I met with him and went through all his stuff. He's an old friend of mine that I didn't realize he was a personal injury attorney. That somebody reintroduced us, and I was like, dude, we've known each other for 30 years. Yet I didn't know what you did. Probably most people don't know what you do. Probably true for you as well. And so I was like, well, let me get my brain wrapped around a couple things and see if I can help you out. And when I dove into his positioning and how successful they already are, they're a super successful firm. He's a super successful attorney. He's amazing. I just kind of got awoken to like, man, you guys just have the opportunity to make so much money that it's very easy for agencies to come in and do the bare minute, the very, very least amount of effort and spend a lot of money to get you cases. And while that still works, my job would be, well, how can we make it work better without asking you to spend ridiculous sums of money on a monthly basis where there's so much waste and there's so much inefficiency. And so one of the partners I work with right now, like they have clients that are spending 10,000 a month on ads, and they have clients that are spending 300,000 a month on ads in personal injury specifically. And so I get to see behind the scenes on that. And then when you bolt on what I'm going to be talking about here today about how do we take those ads, but then position you properly, and then how do we take advantage of the invisible audience that's being built, the new algorithms, and then how do we help you just really create a micro influence system, a trust and authority system. Okay, so that's a lot I'll be talking about. Some of this may be, if you went through my ethical propaganda, you might be like, well, I heard that. Repetition is the secret to mastery. And so I think you could probably listen to this training 5 times and get something different out of it every time. And whether you ever work with me to execute it or not, my goal is to make sure that you have the action plan and the clarity on it. I guess that brings it. Well, I'll get to. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm Ed O'Keefe. Let's dive in. Let's rock and roll, and let's go. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is really the instant influence playbook for personal injury attorneys who want to be seen as the number one go-to truck wreck attorney, right? And it's the when I work specifically, and we still have some people we work with in dentistry. That was where I spent 13 to 14 years, and then last few years still have client. I went back in, I sold the company, and then I came back in because I saw what was happening with the trust efficient economy. Everything I'm going to teach you today solves that. But one of the biggest things that we all kind of I had to teach the dentist, and this is super important for you to understand, is that it's not the best personal injury attorney who gets the best cases. And you know that already. It's the best marketed, advertised, syndicated, the most well-known, the most famous, that are going to get the majority of the cases. Let me just back up on this. The clarification on this, super important to understand. Um, and I'll give you the dental analogy, and then I'll come back, right? And I use a lot of outside the industry ways of connecting dots. So it's how I teach. It's how the brain learns. Is for you to know, like, okay, is this cosmetic dentist a good one, or is that one the better one? I mean, what do you go by? Like, you go by word of mouth, you go by possible like before and after photos, um, you go by whatever. But at the end of the day, the website, the social media, you're going by the one you feel most familiarity with, and the one that you trust. And at the end of the day, the only way for you to literally know, like, if a dentist A is better than dentist B, is if you literally went in there and tried them both out and then came out, right? It's not a massage. Like, I can go get a massage by Susie, and the next day or a week later get one by, Tiffany. I don't know where those names came from. My wife's name is Nola, so don't know where that came from. But anyhow, the point is I could test that out. I could test coffee out. I could test other things out. I can't test out a personal injury attorney, right? Like, I can't have you try my case. We go look for a settlement, and then if it doesn't work, I'm like, oh boy, let's try both of them out. Like, that's not how life works, right? And so we got to position ourselves as the one that is the best. And the biggest frustration we see is that people who are less qualified but dive into the marketing and syndication, and some people make money in a living just by generating leads and then referring them off, right? So they're using their personal brand in that way. I mean, Top Dog's a great example, right? So who am I? I'm a father of 7. I wrote a book called Time Collapsing about 9 years ago, maybe 7 years after I sold my company. And I'm an entrepreneur, right? I ran my first successful business was going into dentistry. I didn't know anything about dentistry, but I loved marketing, and so I started helping dental offices, and then we grew the largest coaching club there for about 14 years. I'll show you that here in a second. I thought I had some with Brian Tracy. I had Brian Tracy on my stage multiple times. We ran big events, right? And so after about 13, 14 years of that, I got out of that, and I went and I just launched the supplement brand for about, 11, 12 years. I still have it today. It kind of runs in the background. And I wanted to scale something without my personal brand, which I did. Again, another industry I knew nothing about. I just was like, let's go into that. And then over the last 3 years, I've been working with kind of experts, really well-known people you might know, helping them craft their offers and build their brands and their communities, right? And I'll tell you how I stumbled into personal injury in a minute, right? So this is my family, 7 kids. My wife Nola, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if I got them all here. Yep, this is one with all of us. This was about a couple years ago. This girl here. My son competes, goes to Illinois Wesleyan, golfer. My little guy Eddie's getting into it now. We love it. This is the place where I've probably spent the most amount of hours, right? So I've spent 40,000 hours coaching elite level, highly competitive volleyball. If you've been watching the NCAAs, this is Abby. She was on Texas. This is Ad D with a D. She is on Wisconsin. Anaya's on Wisconsin. She's on Louisville. This is Hannah. And this is coming off finishing 3rd in the country right here down the lower right hand. This is my other team that I was coaching. My daughter's right here in center. It's different level. It's not the open level. Like, this first picture is open. But we finished 3rd in the country there as well. Done that multiple times. And it's my other thing. There's a very direct correlation between sports and business. It's why I love being around elite athletes, and I like being around elite business owners or people that are motivated, want to do great things. So this is the problem that I see that most of you are facing, right? You're just invisible to the best cases. And you're not as, even if you're spending a ton of money, right? The day you stop spending money, guess what happens to that lead flow? It shuts off. Okay. And so what we're going to talk about today is I'm a believer in paid media. I've spent millions of dollars of my own money. I don't consider us an agency at all. I've never really liked agencies because they spend other people's money. And there are some really good ones, probably less than 10%. And so the ones I work with, I would consider in that bucket. I'm really hard on them. I'll make fun of them a lot because the agency's business is to go get another firm or another business to promote. Okay. Even the best ones. And so it's very difficult for agency owners to juggle making sure that your business is booming and also make sure their business is booming. That's a lot of effort and time. So the best can do it, but it takes a unique people to be able to manage campaigns across many platforms, across many business owners, across many niches. That's why, you'll see, even when I speak about law and growing a law firm, I very intentionally was like, hey, personal injury attorneys. And then what am I demonstrating by running this training? We're sub-niching immediately. And then you'll see I'll sub-niche again. Now, here's why. Because if I'm helping you, I get to leverage the same assets and experiential wisdom. It's super important to understand that the other dozen or multiple dozen truck wreck attorneys throughout the country that we're working together, we get to leverage the wisdom that's coming in off that. The messaging is 90% the same, except customize it to your personal brand, your backstory, how you help people, why you're different. But most of you guys are going to have very similarities as far as the messaging to attract and build trust, build familiarity and likeness. And then it's just really, you got to get syndicated. You got to get seen. And that's the big thing. Again, the reason why others have such a hard time with this is because they're doing too much. They're trying to be everything to everybody. And that's a big problem. So anyhow, here's what we had at the last event. We had Carrie Colby White, Corey Vandenberg, and then my buddy, Nick Kramer. These guys are all great. She talked about intake. He talked about SEO. And I'll circle back, talk about that a little bit later. Oh, this is from my event. So I knew I had a slide in here. So this was Brian Tracy speaking at my events, Jesse Itzler, who he did Zico. He did, he's married to Sarah Blakely. We did a lot of events together. And then Josh Snow just sold his company for 100 million. And anyhow, so just, I love running events. I like being around people. And so that leads me to how I got into personal injury, is that I was speaking at Ken Hardison's event at Pilma. And he asked me to he hired me to run his 8-figure panel. And then I spoke on the next day. And as I was on this stage, and I spent 4 days there, right? And as I was there, I was like, man, I was wondering, I always have questions. I'm a really curious person, and I like solving problems. And I was wondering, like, okay, so I'm hearing like a bunch of the sponsors, a bunch of the people talk about the same stuff. Okay, everyone's talking about MapPack, got it. You got PPC, got it. You got this hack, oh, awesome. But no one was talking about how do you strategically craft your brand, personal brand, to solve the problems for your best cases before they ever get to you. And I know a lot of you're watching this, you're like, Ed, I already have video. And I'm going to show you some examples of video that is really, really high quality, but it's being distributed and not utilized properly. It's invisible and it's hidden and it's not framed properly. Okay. And so I got to do that in a way that's not so, I'm not beating up on people, but it's a waste of money if it's sitting in a closet collecting dust. And so if you want to win, what I would encourage you to really think through is that social media is not about just getting views nowadays. Social media is not just your friends and family, like clicking on your thing. It's not that stuff. Facebook, Instagram, I want you to write this down. You've probably heard me say it if you're here. Those are intent. Actually, all the algorithms now are intent, meaning if you're searching on your phone, like let's say I was searching for dog food on my phone, and then I go in on my computer and I was searching in Google. Well, Facebook all of a sudden is going to serve me a dog ad. And it's like, how does it know that? It's because the privacy is gone. They're sharing the data. It's cross-platform. And then the other thing that's changed dramatically is YouTube was the first out of these platforms, I'll explain in a second, that were like, hey, we're going to make YouTube to be the best conversion platform. And actually how they would think about it is we're going to get people to stay on our platform forever. And how they make money is they run ads. Okay. So where I'm YouTube, I'm speaking as if I'm YouTube right now. I want to run ads, and that's how I make money. And so if people create good content, we're going to reward them by paying them a commission. And so that's one way to make money, but that's not our main goal. Our main goal is to get cases and to build assets that build cases. And so we intentionally will drive people to our YouTube channel. And if I asked you this, is your YouTube channel, if I went there today, is your YouTube channel answering all the biggest questions of your best clients? Like, is it doing that? And if the answer is no, don't beat yourself up. I'm just telling you this. There's lost opportunity there, because if you got 10 views, we want to get more than that, obviously. But if you got 10 views from the right people, you might pull out 2 cases, right? And so what is that worth to you? And so I'll go into that in a second when I talk about the invisible list. But everything's changed. And now, so YouTube wants to reward good content. Well, guess what? Facebook and Instagram want you to stay on their platform too now. So what does that mean? That means if that somebody's in market looking for an attorney after an accident, Facebook's actually going to show them your organic piece of content. Okay. Is it all the time? No. Is it perfect science? No, but they're getting better and better. Now, they might not show that post to your friends and family, which is a great thing, because I don't need your friends and family if they're not interested, intent in this stuff, then I don't really want them there. But I will tell you also too, like some of the posts that some of you guys are making on your Facebook and Instagram that you have somebody on your team excited about. If you're not boosting it, and if you're not using any paid media at all, nobody's seeing it. And so we'll fix that problem today. So no, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed person is king. In the land of law, the one-eyed lawyer is king. So you don't need to be world-class. You don't need to be a master at AI. I think for most of you, it's probably a distraction, except for practical uses. Like I use AI every day. You better be too. But, 3-day conferences learning everything about AI marketing might be way over, maybe extreme overwhelm. Let me just put it that way. But this is good news. Now, the right mentor who can see around the corner. I'm going to give you the 10-second version of this because we only have 42 more minutes together. The right mentor who can see around the corner. I'm just going to tell you a story. We had my supplement business was up to 30 million a year. We were spending 1.5 million a month. Okay. That was me. It was my money, my company. We're spending that. Right. And every day I'd come in and I would look at all the paid source reports. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. And it would give me the average value, give me the cost per click, cost per sale, cost per everything. And we had to keep optimizing that. So growth comes with discomfort, and it comes with different possible problems. I'll give you an example. Simple possible problem is, let's say we're spending $1,000 a day right now on your firm, and we're on Facebook. If we bump that up to $2,000 a day, everything is going to become more expensive. Your cost per case is going to get more expensive. Your cost per lead is going to get more expensive. But here's the thing. You still may be able to do that, right? It all comes down to math, and it's okay. So like why I'm sharing that is the right mentor can see around the corner. I mean, like, hey guys, you want to bump up your budget. You want to test this other budget. We want to test. The rule usually is you shouldn't be testing more than 20% of your budget, but you should always be testing 20% of your budget. Does that make sense? So I'm spending $10. I'm always spending $2 on testing minimum. Now, early, You're early. If you're early just trying to test stuff, guess what? You're probably spending 100% of your budget on testing because you got to get there. You got to get some data in there, right? And then you optimize from that. Okay. But I've spent a lot of my own money, so I know the good, bad, and ugly across all the platforms. And the story I like to share here is Michael Phelps. His coach would always poke holes into his goggles, and so the reason I share that is because then guess what? On his record-breaking gold medal thing, his goggles broke and his eyes were filled up with water. His coach prepared him for what was around the corner, and he didn't know that specifically was going to happen, but he knew that adversity was coming his way at some level, and I'm going to train this person for adversity. When you work with, when you work with me, okay, I've done everything wrong when it comes to paid media and growing businesses, but I've done a few things right. And the goal in life is to like not keep doing this stuff that's not working and do more of the stuff that's working. So anyhow, so you'll never get me pretending like I know everything about it all, except the stuff I've really screwed up on, and then the few things we've done right. So, but here's the positive thing. It's kind of like power laws, right? Is that, hey, you can make 20 like hedge funds, they make 20 investments. All they need is one of them to hit a home run. The same thing with advertising. Okay. You could test 20 things. Like right now I have a campaign running with 14 creatives. That's 14 different ads. It's been running for 3 days. We've spent just under $1,000 and we're at 30% revenue recovered. That is not fun. That means we've only made $300. But what's going to happen over the next few days is we're going to get some more sales. We're going to see the 2 or 3 ads that are actually making us money. And then we start cutting out the rest. And then you put more budget behind what's working. Okay. So this is perfect for you if, like the client who came to me said, hey, I know we're spending like 8 to 10K a month. I don't know what it's on. We get these leads and we got to follow up with them. And then some are good, some are bad, some are just wasting our time. And so that's kind of probably a feel that a lot of people have, right? If you're spending 50 grand a month or 100 grand a month, or even 300K a month, like the ones that my partner's working with, there's without even a question that by doing some of these strategies, you're gonna just squeeze the profit and make sure you're not losing money. Okay. There's so much opportunity cost every single day that goes by not having a trust flywheel happening kind of like behind the scenes that's capturing all these visitors in this invisible funnel and popping out new cases for you that were ordinarily would normally go somewhere else. Okay. Okay. So that's what I can promise you. Strong desire to be the number one go-to truck wreck attorney. Specifically, this training is for you if you want more truck wreck cases and want to be positioned that way in your area. And personally, I just want to work with people that are positive and have a slight edge mentality. And this is a slight edge training. All innovation happens outside the industry, out of your industries first. That is true. My other favorite saying I like hammering to people I work with are the leapfrog theory of success. We're not looking for anyone's permission. We're going to leap to the top. And as it says right there, then no one has a moral obligation, moral or legal, to work his or her way through the ranks. Every human being possesses an inalienable right to make a unilateral decision to redirect his or her career and begin operating on a higher level at any time that he or she believes they are ready. What that means is you can jump to the top of what your niche is without anyone's permission, as long as you don't suck. Like if you're bad at what you do, you shouldn't do that, because then that's manipulation, and that's not what I teach. Okay, so if you're a badass, you're a slight edger, and you want to be the best, then let's rock and roll. Okay, so 2 ways I work with people. Number one, we do a vision day right here in Chicago, where we get clear on everything that we're going to talk about right now. And then I have a camera crew, 3-person camera crew, or 3 camera setup, that we do an interview, and then we build out all the assets that we're going to be talking about. Now, here's very important for me to let you know this. You do not need to do that in order to get results. Just letting you know that right away. Okay. You don't need to do that. I just want to let you know that that's something that I have available for you if you want to look at that as an option. The other thing that we're launching here now in 2026 is our personal alliance Personal Injury Alliance Boardroom, which is a mastermind and an ecosystem. Why do I call it an ecosystem? It's not like, okay, we just share ideas. No, an ecosystem should be that our goal is to get all the resources that you need to accelerate your firm. And if we don't have it, we go find it. And then we provide it for you, and we work with you to get the problems that you're trying to solve solved. And it should be a place where you're able to do that. So enough on that for now. So where do you want to go? Okay. So it's kind of the question of Brian Tracy always told me a story. The person that has clarity of their focus and they know exactly the problem they want to solve today. We could start there. What's the number one problem that you want to solve today that if it was solved would change everything about your firm? Okay. And my assumption is that you're like, Ed, I would love to have at least one more truck wreck case a month. Or Ed, I want to get 5 to 10. Okay. Whatever your goal is, and if you're nationwide, it might be a lot more than that, right? We got to have clarity on that. And so I'd like to challenge you to ask that question to yourself. Where do you want to go? Because Brian Tracy told me this great story. He said, like, there's two people, the person that has the GPS, they're on the highway and they have clarity and they're just following the GPS. And then there's the other person who is on the side of the road. They don't have the GPS and they're just driving across the farms. And they're like, hey, we're going to get over there. But every farm road takes them down a different place. Okay. Now, what I like doing when I sit with a client or we do in our workshops or whatever we do, this is a little jumbled. I apologize. But the first thing I like to ask is, I'm going to shrink my face so you can see more of the screen is, who is the level 10 client that if you had that person in your firm and you had a consistent flow of those, it would just change everything about your how you feel about your business and your confidence, your consistency, your cash flow, all those things, right? And when we write down that name, like I would really challenge you to think of like actually a specific case you had that you're like, man, if we just had more of those, because there's a lot of reasons why. Number one, it gives your brain the permission to go find content, more ideas, more ways to solve their problems before they get to you. All those things. But this is actually from a marketing perspective and a paid media perspective. This is why when I talk to the agencies, when I interview them before I ever introduce them to my clients, I'm always like, well, what's your cost per lead? What's your cost per case? What is that case worth to the firm? If they can't answer those three, I'm always like, well, you got to get more visibility because you're making decisions based on just your cost per lead, not the whole cycle. Okay. You're like, oh, we're getting $20 cost per lead. That doesn't mean anything to me. We're getting $1,000 cost per case. What's the revenue per case? Is that the case that the firm wants? Like, those are the questions I want to know. So you got to have all three of those things. And then my next question is, look, well, what's the timeline? Because that tells me cash flow. And then it allows us to start looking at the model for scale. Like, can we scale this? Can we increase it? What do we got to do to solve it? But this is what I want you to focus on for now. The lead source is, where did they come from? Where did they come from? Okay. Now, if we were working together, I would say, hey, I need you to do me a favor. I want you to list out 10 of your best clients, 20 of them. And on the right-hand side, I want you to put revenue, and I want you to put where do they come from, like the lead source. And then we do a couple more things like enjoyment, alignment, fulfillment. Are you guys, like one of the things I like looking at is this case going to lead to more referrals so that it's perpetual, like it builds on itself? Okay. And that could be an internal thing as well. Like, we just got to get better at asking for referrals, rewarding people for referrals, thanking them, being in front of them. There's a whole system on that. But this, I like saying, hey, where are you getting your cases from? Is it word of mouth? Okay. Word of mouth is great, but who specifically? Okay. ER docs. Okay. Well, what ER? Which ER docs? So you'll see the clarity becomes out of me asking these questions. And if you don't know them, there's no judgment there. That just tells us, like, that's just data. We just got to go, okay, cool. You don't know right now. That's great. Let's go find out. because I will tell you this. If you could tell me your top 20 clients in past cases, okay, and we go through your sources, PPC, YouTube ads, social media, podcast, like appearances, like let's say you did a podcast, let's say you ran your own podcast, let's say you're on TV, let's say they saw you on a billboard, whatever your thing is, you did a guest appearance at a local Rotary thing speaking to a referral other lawyers, and then you got 20 referrals. Guess what? We got to do more of that. Like, it tells us where to go deeper. Okay, that's number one. So before I even talk about any of my stuff that I want to do to help capture more money for you, the first thing I want to do is I want to know what road are you driving on, because I want to save you money as we're driving on it. Does that make sense? And most people don't do this. This is shiny out. Like, everyone likes to look in other places to solve their existing problems. We solve this, or you come to the table with this. Now I'm not only going to help you optimize every one of them, but now we're going to capture the revenue on the back end. It's going to blow you away. Okay. Okay, cool. Now, this is super important, this next part. What are we willing to pay to get what are we willing to pay per case to get the result that we want? Okay. So this is where, like, this gets interactive, where if you're like, Ed, my average case size is, you tell me what it is. Like, okay, for truck wreck cases, what's my average case size, right? Now, I had a whole chart on this. I didn't put it in here. All right, cool. So what I found was I have a whole GPT for personal injury, right? So it says to me, your average case value comparison, high to low, standard auto accident, 15 to 50K, severe auto injury, 75 to 150, truck commercial vehicle wreck, 250 to 1 million, catastrophic truck injury, wrongful death, 1 to 10 million. Okay. Now, that could be right, or you got to tell me whatever yours is, right? But we lay those out, right? We lay those out, and then all of a sudden you got like a model. And the only thing you got to ask yourself is, what's my timeline? Okay. Because then funding becomes the question. And then how do we solve that? You probably already have it solved. If you don't, I have resources for you on floating that, et cetera, like that. So that's cool. Okay. But now, are you seeing how fun this is? Like, now we're just taking the complexity of marketing, and all I'm doing is putting this on an Excel sheet, even though this just looks clunky or whatever. Like, my Excel sheet, I got to make look prettier for PowerPoints. And then all we got to do is reverse engineer to get us to the number we want to get. So if no one's ever done this with you, then let me know, because this is like step one. You don't make any marketing decisions. You don't make any investment on your budget decisions till this is figured out first. Does that make sense? So all my unique skill sets is on positioning and marketing and language and messaging, but it doesn't matter if your numbers are broken. Then like my worst investment, I put $500,000 into a company that, if I would have just looked at the basic, the CEO lied about the actual margins on the numbers and the cost of goods sold. But when we looked at it, we're like, oh my God, this was crazy. So anyhow, we'll talk about that at a different time, but it's a lot of lessons there. Okay. So why we get off track. Now, this is important as to why this step one fixes this right here, but this is really important. Shiny object syndrome, overwhelm, confusion, and fatigue. Getting clarity together, excuse my languaging, getting clarity together removes the first two, because you don't need shiny object syndrome when you have clarity as to the goal. Does that make sense? Really important here on the abdicate thing. This is super important that you understand this. If I ask you, like, hey, you're spending 20 grand a month, what's your cost per case? And you don't know the answer, your cost per lead, you're abdicating the most important part of your business in the big picture, in the long run. You can't scale or replicate or duplicate without knowing that. So I love like Dan Martell's book, Buy Your Time Back. I love it. It's amazing. But you never, like Oprah says, okay, you never delegate the checkbook. More importantly than that, you don't delegate or abdicate the marketing. Because you need to know, because everything we're talking about here today, guys, is the tip of the spear. If we get this right, everything else flows better. We can fix other issues in your business by getting this right. Does that make sense? Unrealistic math and plan for case acquisition. That's super important. We just started talking about math, me and you. And victim mentality and reactive. This is just in general. This is not about you, but like when we feel out of control, we don't have our capability, our attention gets hijacked, and we feel kind of helpless. When we feel helpless, we start losing our ability to think clearly and be confident. And that's a bad place to be at. Okay. And then also, a lot of times with a lot of the agencies, or just even a lot of the seminars you go to, and I'm not picking on guys who run seminars, by the way, there's a lot of great people in personal injury. Okay. So, is sometimes if you don't do this first part, none of the shiny object stuff matters. And sometimes it leads to like blind leading the blind. So I'm going to fly through this because we got a lot to do, but you can just read through this, like case flow inconsistent, cost rising, you feel helpless. Now I could tell you that when you spend more and you start going out, your cost per case is going to increase, most likely, like really likely. So you have to have then the other stuff figured out. Like, okay, what's our conversion rate? Well, if our conversion rate is fully optimized because you have authority and trust in a flywheel, then you're not afraid of that because you know you can increase budget and get more cases without being stressed out. Does that make sense? Okay, good stuff. Okay. I'm gonna keep moving here. Cool. So the intentional CEO and founder of a firm, crystal clear vision. We know what our top 3 profitable clients are that we want to attract this year. I'm leading with truck wrecks, right? Construction was another one that my buddy was bringing up. There's a few other that were brought up. Case flow predictability. When you have predictability in what's coming in, you have confidence, right? You have confidence to say no to a meeting that's just pulling your distraction away, because you're like, look, dude, I know that when I spoke at this thing, I brought in 6 referrals from other attorneys. I brought in 6 referrals from insert, doctors, chiros, whatever it might be, that are good referral sources. Guess what? I'm choosing that over, hey, we just got to have a logistics meeting. No. I can buy my time back and get somebody else in to fix intake for me if that's what I'm stuck, whatever it might be. Profit becomes predictable and scalable. And then daily, you're a little more focused, calm, and present. Message unique. I stand out. People know exactly who you help. Another friend of mine, I said, hey, what type of cases do you guys take in your personal injury firm? They're like, oh, we take everything. And I was like, all right, well, my next follow-up was like, well, what do you like doing? And then he told me. I'm like, well, what else do you like doing? And he told me. I'm like, well, if all you had were those cases, what would you be spending all your time on? Well, those then, right? Because you can always hire another attorney or bring in a partner or somebody for the other things you don't love doing. But when you're everything to everybody, then you're nothing to nobody. Does that make sense? Write down. If you're everything to everybody, then you're nothing to nobody. Okay. And you wonder, like, well, we'll just spend more money. It is very, very difficult just to spend more money. Like the postman delivers. I love his stuff. I see him everywhere here. But I'm still going to be searching around for somebody who I know, and then I'm going to sign someone I like, blah, 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 so we get very data driven, create dashboards, income, efficiency, and it's just a totally different thing. So let's get into work. Now I'm already over a little behind schedule, so we're just cranking out. Are you enjoying this so far? No, seriously, like, is this different? I mean, I know like you bought this to get truck wreck cases, and I'm taking you through how we think about how we need to think and plan before we just start. Like, I can give you the ads, I can give you the scripts, and guess what? It's not going to mean anything if you don't have the right plan, the right thinking, and the right mindset around this stuff. Okay. So how do we turn you into the most number one authority, most trusted personal injury attorney overnight? Okay. Now, big thing is you guys are in a very competitive, bloody sea. Okay. And I've always had a counterintuitive thought, like, right? I don't do a lot of phone. I don't do phone. I like in dentistry, when I grew that business, we had thousands, tens of thousands of clients over the years, right? And I probably got on only less than 100 sales calls, right? Because I believed that the best clients are those that are pre-educated. And like the fact that you're watching this tells me you're probably a pretty freaking good client, right? Because you're a slight edger. You paid money. I could have given this away for free, but I didn't on purpose. I don't want a bunch of looky-loos just jumping in, always looking for the free shit, never make a decision on anything, take forever. They're not willing to be uncomfortable. And the way you do that is you got to do things differently, right? And so this is going to put you in your own blue ocean so that you're not fighting saying the same crap that everybody else is saying, right? Now, one of the biggest challenges in personal injury specifically is there's a concept that media buyers know that most people don't know, but I'm going to explain it to you. The FTC sure as hell knows it. The feds know how to do it, and it's called the bully method. But when it comes to paid media, it's what really messes you up, because big firms, nationwide firms, well funded, and by the way, I'm not. This is a power move. What I'm going to say to you though is you don't need to do it unless you're doing it. Like if you're doing it and you're watching this, call me, because you could. There's ways to capture stuff and do it better. There's no way that you want to be the next postman, the next mom-in-law, like where you're just spending a ton of money, and the Morgan and Morgans in the world, they're doing us the biggest favor because they're spending so much money building awareness. Okay, that is what we call the top of the funnel. If you try and compete with them, they're going to win because they're going to bully you out of it, because they have deeper pockets. They'll go negative longer. And you just can't. It's what drives up the cost of media. Okay. And, I can go through all these, but when you try and do that, the biggest thing on that is it just skyrockets your cost. Okay. The other problems people face when they're not doing anything unique and different and they're trying to compete with that, is like leads aren't converting, they're low quality. There's a big reason for that. Okay. You want to hear why? What's happening now in our algorithms, okay, we're going to use it to our advantage, but I'm going to tell you why. If you've seen an increase in cost, a decrease in conversions, it's that what I tell you about Facebook and Instagram, they became intent engines. Well, they've done that on the paid side as well. And so what that means is if that somebody clicks on an ad and you're trying to run ads, all your competitors are going to be showing up immediately, and they're all going to say the same crap. Hey, we got X $1 million settlement. Hey, we did this. We care about you. When you need to win, you choose us. Only when you gotta, like when your life's on the line. All the slogans, right? In personal injury, right? What ends up happening is that you're just getting drowned out and you're getting commoditized, and that's a problem because it's a cost game. You're only going to spend more money, and then it leads to inconsistent lead flow. You start being like, well, what do we do? Well, now I do AI? Is it AEO? Is it SEO? Who do I trust? Not sure where to use AI. My system leakages are happening and I'm freaking frustrated, right? So this is kind of when you look at your market. Let me shrink my face so you can see this better. This is like this is cost per clicks, guys, with the keywords. All right. So you can get less like YouTube. We're having success with just cost per leads, like $50 a lead with truck cases. Right now, the challenge I'm having with that agency is which is why we're not working together for my clients, is that the previous partner they're working with just will never give them the full data. So they're kind of the blind leading the blind. They know they're successful because they keep spending money with them. Does that make sense? That's a horrible spot to be in. That's not what we want to know. We need to know, when I look at all this crap, this is really hard. How to choose a truck attorney, boom, all this stuff. This is expensive clicks, right? You're going to be in like 18-wheeler accident attorney. That's very expensive. But I can create a video on YouTube that answers the 7 different types of questions that potential person has who's been in a 18-wheeler accident. And we can siphon off people who are clicking on $550 clicks for free. I could create that content, stick it in Facebook and Instagram organically. I could post that on X. Like, I could put that on LinkedIn. I could put that on TikTok. Not saying that our best clients are coming from TikTok, but guess what? Moms watch TikTok. Dads watch TikTok. My kids send me TikTok stuff all the time. So I'm 50 years old. But this is the expenses. So you're already in a place where you're going to be fighting these types of things, right? So let's just do basic. If I don't do anything different and I just want to play the cost per cost game. And by the way, these are I pulled this off like 3 different sources, threw it into ChatGPT, and then I built this out, just so you know. I would say it's not perfect. And I would also say that you got to run your own data. Like, you got to look at your own data, because while the ranges might be there, there's always ways to increase it. But so like, this is kind of like market. If I'm in Dallas or Chicago, I live in Chicago. So, you know, here's your cost per signed case, $2,800 to $6,000. Here's your lead to case percentage conversion. Can you increase that with improving intake? Yes. Can you increase that with retargeting, which is what I'm going to talk a little bit about, combined with a authority ecosystem? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Can you steal this traffic that other people are spending money on, that are clicking there? Can you steal that traffic ethically by you having your own authority ecosystem that is in there, that when people have the intent looking for this stuff, you're there? Yes, 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 yes. Triple yes, right? That's the name of the game. So instead of us having, and so here's the other thing to think about. This is very important to think about it mindset wise. The moment you get a free organic lead or case, let me just jump right to the case. It cuts every cost per case in half overall. So if we're spending $3,000 cost per case and we're willing to spend $5,000, I'm just making that up, and all of a sudden we get an organic one that came off of our YouTube channel or our Instagram posts, guess what our average cost per case is? It's not $5,000, it's $2,500. What if we get 2? Well, we cut it again. So now it's not 5K, it's I should have just picked 6K. 5,000 divided by 3. I'll let you do the math on that. I want to say it's like 16. What is that? 1650, 1677, something like that. Anyhow, so now that's how you do this. This is how I take expensive and make it into, holy crap, our average cost is actually a third of what others are spent. Oh, guess what? We could spend more money. Why? Because every time you spend more money on your cost per clicks or building your like, you always got to solve. It's direct response. It's direct response, personal branding. It's not throw shit at the wall and hope people recognize it. We don't do that. It's not what I do. I'll never spend your money that way. It's not what I teach. I'll let other people teach that, not me. I think it's so much wasteful and inefficient crap. Just keep your money in your pocket. I'd rather you spend it on building out assets that produce income and cases for you for a long time. Okay. All right. Are you liking this so far? We just kind of broke down the math here, fellas. Broke down the math. I get pumped up when I see math, because if I see the math, then guess what happens? I know how to manipulate the other numbers, right? We can increase conversion rates. We're not the average. We can do things better. Okay. So if truck accident cases regularly settle for $250,000 to $1 million, even if acquisition costs hit $10K, we could still ROI on that. I don't know if that's true or not for you. I don't at all. Okay. But what I do know is that we don't need to spend $10K to get a case. Okay. We just have to build an ecosystem, right? So here's the example. A truck accident case leads for $50 a lead on YouTube right now. Okay. I can't show you all the details on this, but this past week, I mean, I'm recording this on December 16th. So this was the first week of November to December. The most expensive time of the year, fellas. The most expensive. We got 2,758 clicks, 32 cents cost per click, so that was 17 conversions, right? Let's say they get only 2 cases out of that, right? So let's say they got ad spend of $900. I always round up. And that's 2 cases. That's pretty damn good, right? Now, here's what I want to ask you this question. Okay, I got a really tricky question for you. It's going to blow you away. What is happening to the 2,755 people or 30 people that did not opt in, did not become a conversion? What are they doing right now? You know what they're doing? They're watching YouTube videos. They're on YouTube. They click, they bounce off. They're not ready yet. They're just like, they're asking questions. Well, I don't know. Do I even qualify as a truck wreck? Would they even take me? How do I know what to do now? All that stuff that people ask on the phone, that's what they're searching for on YouTube right now. They're searching for in ChatGPT. And what we know is that ChatGPT is going to start taking all the signals from all these different high trust and authority engines. YouTube is probably the top one, right? We noticed that posting questions on video, in Facebook in local areas, ranked on SEO. Why? Because Facebook is a higher trust authority engine than somebody just posting a text article that no one likes to read on a blog just to rank. It doesn't equal conversion. That shit's going to be dying very soon. It's going to evolve so rapidly, right? So I would rather put my money on like this kind of stuff as being one pillar in my system. Don't abandon everything else you're doing until you talk to me. You got to look at it. Ed, we're breaking even here. Ed, I think we're wasting money here. Good. Book me for an appointment, get on a call, or come out to a vision day. Let's create a freaking plan so you dominate. You shouldn't be guessing this stuff, right? But like, this is the type of stuff. These are very average thumbnails. I'll talk about that in a minute. But look, 2,200 views. This was from 4 years ago. This guy had 10,000 views from 9 years ago. But here's the reality. You guys want to know a top level secret? I'm giving it to you. Like what I told my client, right? My buddy Mike. Hey, dude, give me all your video you currently have that's collecting dust. Okay. And let's see if I can show one example. And then we're going to take a break. And then I'm going to finish part 2 of this. Sorry, guys. I went over 59 minutes. I apologize. I just really want to make sure you're getting the full impact. Okay. All right, cool. So here, this is an example of a really good, this is an about page. Did you know that the about page gets the most volume to it besides the home page? Like some people come to the home page, they go immediately to the about page. They want to know who they're dealing with, right? Now, my biggest problem that I've had with trying to help a lot of people out is what I'm about to show you is so good and it's completely hidden. Take 30 seconds.
So my daughter, Kimmy, was 27 years old and she was on her way to work and she died in a crash involving a semi truck. It was horrific. Her daughters were 5 and 18 months old. In my heart, I know they're going to be fine because of Tim and Mike working so diligently on this case. They were there for me the whole time.
I started the law firm in 19.
So this video is awesome, right? This video is awesome. The challenge I have with it is that it's hard to find. And I'll prove it to you. Okay. Here, I'm just trying to open this up. Hold on a second, guys. Oh, I'll do my whole screen. Let's see. There it is. Let me just show it to you. Let me show it to you. I guarantee you have this inside your business right now. Okay. Now, when I see this video, it's the same video. See that? I would duplicate the video, right? And it might only be 90 seconds long. Right to there. Let's just say there. I would get a new headline that it's based on a viral, like the viral stuff we do. And I would say it's only about it would say something about have you been in a truck accident, ? Hear the story, XYZ, right? Here's the story. And then I would post that as a separate video. And then I would also have my attorney, like I would have you break it down. Like, when they came to us, here's what happened. And then I would walk through like, here's what we had to do first. Here's what we had to do second. Here's what we had to do third. Here's what most people don't know and then go through what most people don't know. Because guess what? The reason they're in fear, the reason they're concerned, the reason they're worried about choosing an attorney is they don't know these things. So do the debrief, do this, tell people. It took us, an accident like that might take 6 months. It might take 6 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the questions in their mind. Like, am I going to get, like, do I even qualify, right? And so that's how you take what you already got and then you repurpose it and you have it, and you can have 2 assets. It's not the same video. You're not hurting your algorithms, right? Now, here's my other challenge with what, that's what I said to these guys. I said, look, there's no description here at all. I said, Mike, there's no description. Like, where am I supposed to go next? What am I supposed to do? You're going to send me there. And there's only like 382 views. We need to find ways to get 3,882 views. How many more cases do you think they're going to get if they have people in Chicago watching that? Okay. Now there's a lot of tactics and tricks. I'll show you in the next video just how we do that a little bit more. But this is kind of what I mean by, guys, by just dormant assets sitting inside your business that, we could take that and do it. And I'm going to show you how, like, we can take things from 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago that you did, and just refurbish it, re-get the storytelling. Why? Like, so when I'll tell you a quick little funny story and I'll drop off on this, right? So I was just inducted into the Hall of Fame at a high school for our volleyball team. I coached the volleyball team, right? And we won state. It was a great year. We were ranked number 10 in the state, and then we finished first in the state. It was amazing. Got a whole backstory for it. I can tell you about each girl that played Division I, tell you about them individually, how amazing they were, my experiences, what I learned. Now, here's the cool thing. That happened 20-something years ago, but the lessons are still very, very relevant to this day. So what I found is really good experts, that's what you are, tend to minimize your wins and your successes that were in your past, not because of any other reason, is that this is what you do. Like, you're used to doing this. This is what we do, Ed. We go win cases. I don't want to brag about it all the time. Yeah. But here's the reality. There's people, like a never-ending parade, coming into your ecosystem every day, looking for answers, looking for solutions, wondering, hey, I heard about this law firm. They type it in, and there's nothing that helps them get to know you better. So the familiarity stays low. But then they click on another firm that the guy has like every single answer to every single question. And they're like, I know they were going to refer me here, but gosh, these guys are amazing. They're going to go with that, the one that makes them feel familiar, know, like, and trust. So anyhow, this is the end of part 1. I promise you, I'm going to make part 2. And then I think we're going to be good to go, and you'll have an action plan. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.